Here at Nkosi Talk Shows, Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. So I'm on my own today, and I'm sorry, guys, I had to come out because when I came live, my phone rang. So that was a distraction. Didn't realize I had a tablet behind me, so that affected my life. So I'm on my own today, and the topic today is surviving heartache, navigating breakups as a teenager. So in this insightful video, we're just gonna go through the journey of a teenager breaks up as a teenager experiences, and the anguish and the emotional turmoil of a breakup can be really incredibly challenging. With our expert, which is me, and the guidance of heartache advice. So my aim today is to actually give you some personal growth, and we all been through storm in life, and our teenagers, unfortunately, they're meant to focus on their future, they're meant to focus on their lives, but it's not our way to tell. We can, as a parent, you can tell your child to keep themselves until they find that person that has a vision, that knows what they really want in life. And we have some Christian families that have Christian values. We have some families who don't believe in Christianity. So, but the values and the pain, the heartache, we all still have to go through the same heartache, no matter how much your Christianity is or how strong we are with our Christianity. We can only pray so much because our teenagers, they have not experienced the challenges in life. So as a parent, when you try to give child some advice, the more you tell them, the more you give them advice, the more they want to experience the things that you say, don't do it. So when a teenager is not meant to actually experience the heartbreak. They are meant to actually go through life and enjoy life. And then when they're ready to actually date, when they do understand, like I always say to myself, there are some people who met their spouse, they're married. I've met people who have been married for 30 years, 50 years, who met their spouse when they were 16, when they were 17, when they were 18. But there were protocols, there were principles that these people put in place. They didn't just meet their spouse and the next thing they start kissing, they start having sex. They put boundaries. If you want me to be for you, these are the boundaries that we're gonna have to obey. And then through those boundaries, through those principles that they've put in place, they got married. And now they've been together for 50 years, been together for 30 years. But then you have other teenagers that will meet boys, and they watch reality TVs, the society, they hear at school, they get taught sex from a very young age. So they are like 8 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, they are being taught sex. And when they get to that age, they're like, I want to experience all these things that people keep talking about. So that's why the pressure comes on. They start having sex, they're young, or they start dating, because dating, it sounds exciting, and then through along the way, heartbreak. So how do you deal with it as a parent? How do you deal with a teenager that goes through heartbreak? You have to treat that child, the teenager, as an adult. Like the pain is still the same, how they feel. So all you can do as a parent is not to blame your child. And for Christian parents, not to blame your child as well, because that's why we have the scriptures. That's why we have the Bible. That's why we have God. It's not our place to actually condemn, to put people in judgment and say, I told you so. All you can do as a parent, because what happens in this world, we live in this world where people try to fit in with other people. Our children will try their best to be the person that they are meant to be. But if they have the wrong friends, then they will try to fit in with those friends. If friends are dating, they will feel that they have to date. If friends are having sex, they will feel that they have to have sex. But that's not the case. They shouldn't be doing that, but they will go ahead and do it anyway, because that is the society nowadays, social media as well. Children can access the social media from a very young age. So social media, it does put pressure on teenagers as well, because they want to grow up. But there's no rush, but they do want to grow up. But only as a parent, what you can do is, when a teenager is going through something, you don't tell them that I told you so. Be a good listener to your child. Or if you are a parent that prays, speak to God to actually touch their heart, pray for them. If you are a non-Christian, be a good listener. That moment when they come to you and tell you, oh, this is what is going on, just listen to them. Listen to them. And when they are going through pain, sometimes they just want somebody to listen. And if you are like somebody like me, when you are going through problems, the teenagers are going through problems, I fast. My daughter the other day, she was saying they came back, they went to a birthday party, and then they came back a little bit later, and she said, Mommy, why are you not telling me off? And I said, I will not tell you off. Whatever the journey you take in life, I will not tell you off, but I will guide you through life. As a child of God, I will guide you through life. It's not my place to tell you off. And I don't want to be a bad guy. So the good thing for me is to guide you through life and to explain to you that when you are late, you're going to call me. So they got picked up late because the woman that was giving them a lift, her daughter was at her party, so she had to tidy up, but they didn't call to say we're going to be late. I always say they need to support each other because they are friends, they are good friends. They are these bunch of kids that are good friends, and that's all as a parent you can ask for. But she came home late, and she expected me to say something, but I didn't say something because I already prayed to God to actually protect and look after my daughter and bring her home safe. So she was like, Mommy, why are you not telling me off? Why are you not going mad? And I said, I'm never gonna go mad, because my job is to guide you through, and your job is to follow the principles that mommy guides you through them. If you don't follow them, I cannot force you to follow those principles. But the only thing I can do is I can guide you through life. So that's what you have to do as a parent. Sometimes parents, they get upset because they are like, I raise you well. You should know better. But when a child comes, when mistakes, when pain is there, all they need now is somebody to guide them through, to be there for them. Christian parents, pray for your children. Non-Christian parents, I don't know what keeps you going, but for me, without God, I don't know if I would be here today. Even for my children, I wouldn't lie to you. I don't think I'll be here today. That's why sometimes my daughter, she would do things and say, oh, Mommy, I expect you to go mad. I can't go mad. Because the God that I go to, he doesn't go mad with me. He's always have mercy on me. And he want me to guide you through life. He want me to be a parent that loves you unconditional, and also set boundaries, the principles. When things go wrong, you have to know the principles of life. So that's what I do for my children. I teach them the principles of life without screaming and shouting. It's not easy. I can tell you, I can sit in front of this camera and tell you that being a parent is not easy. So anyone that can tell me, Nomsa, is just it's not easy being a parent. And having teenagers is not easy. Sometimes you wouldn't even know whether you are doing the right thing or the wrong thing. You wouldn't know, but you just have to you just have to actually live that life and not hoping. Create principles for your children so that they are raised well. Because if the children are raised well, wherever they go in life, they will have joy. Whatever they do in life, they will have joy. They will have that happiness, and they will have a fulfillment in life. So before, when a child, I always say to my children, a child has to be a child. When somebody starts dating, so they need to have if you by any means, teenagers, you get to see these videos, by any means, anyhow, you meet a man or another teenager, they tell you that you're beautiful and they want to have a relationship with you. You have to ask yourself, what do they know about relationship? Just ask them those questions. What do you know about a relationship? You say you love me. If anything was to happen today, would you actually take good care of me? Their lifestyle, what kind of a lifestyle are they living? You have to actually look at your lifestyle as well. What kind of a lifestyle yourself are you living? And if you are a Christian, what kind of a life this person is living? Their environment, the parents, how are they like, his parents? So when you are dating somebody, the foundation of life is very important. What's in that foundation of this boy or this girl that you say you like? What is in the foundation? Because if you date somebody who the foundation, if the foundation is messed up, they are bound to be messed up. If they are confused, they are bound to be messed up. And our job is, like, as a woman, you're not meant to change a man. A man is not meant to change a woman. We're meant to guide each other through life, through our values, through our beliefs. We're meant to walk through the path together. So if the foundation of that person, you're dating somebody and the foundation is not right, or let's say there are some people, the people that got married, when you talk to them, there were boundaries and principles that were put in place. They liked each other. They got married for 50 years, 20 years, 40 years, 60 years. Some people have been married forever. They met. If you meet these parents, they met when they were at school, college, or then after college, they went to university. After university, they go separate ways. This one goes to other university and that one goes to other university. They know they like each other, but they still know that they still have dreams that they need to accomplish. They have visions. But when you meet somebody, they are 16, they want to have this relationship, they're living with their parents, everything happens so quick. We want to do this, we want to do this. That's not that relationship. That means it's going to die down and there's going to be pain. So when somebody is young and they meet their Romeo, then they become Romeo and Juliet. It doesn't exist in real life. Romeo and Juliet, it doesn't exist in real life, by the way. But true love exists. The movie doesn't exist in real life. So, and then you meet each other, and that person, then you get to know each other. the chances are, if there is no rush, they're not rushing into anything, not rushing into sex, not rushing to trying to fit in and kissing or anything, but they know that they like each other and they believe that God has put them through that path, that relationship cannot be broken, as long as they're not rushing into anything. And they know that this is what we want to do. Yes, we met each other. Yes, we love each other. And one day we're going to get married. One day we're going to kiss. One day we're going to have sex. But mostly where there is a heartbreak is when somebody meets somebody, they're 16 or they are 15, and they want to have sex. What does a 15-year-old know about sex? But can we stop them in this world where it's very, very, it's so fast? We can't, but as a parent, you just have to try your best to pray for your children. Try your best to raise your children well. My friend, there were times when my friend thought I was a weak mom. I don't allow my children to watch movie. An 8-year-old has to watch TV for an 8-year-old. So if somebody, an 8-year-old, and find my child, she's watching movie with guns and everything, boom, 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 I'm like, I have to ask myself, what am I teaching to my children? So my friends, the times when my friends thought I was being weak, I was like, I'm not. A 8-year-old needs to behave like an 8-year-old. A 7-year-old or 9-year-old or 10-year-old, they need to behave like a 9-year-old, and they need to watch it. When it comes to films or anything, they need to watch the films their age. And that's my beliefs, that those are my values as a parent. But some people, sometimes they think I'm being weird, but I'm like, I'm not being weird. I just believe that a child shouldn't be pushed to grow up very, very quickly. They need to take their time. They need to experience that life. They need to experience the love of their parents, the guidance of their parents, God guiding them through. Not a child like you who is, let's say they are 80s and they watch porno movies, or they access the porno movies, and they watch movies where people are having sex in front of them. To me, that's not on. So that is very, very important as well for parents. It's hard. It's not easy to make sure that you monitor your children, what they watch. For me, I don't monitor them because my internet, there are certain things that you cannot access on the internet. So I put that in place on my internet, what you can watch, what you can't watch. So sometimes some website, you can't even go through them unless if I change the settings. So you just have to monitor the kids. And sometimes there are kids that they are so smart. You monitor them, they'll just go and just undo whatever you do. So you can't win in that way. But when somebody is dealing with pain, a teenager, they don't need, you have to, as a parent, you have to acknowledge their pain. You cannot actually blame them. Allow them to feel that pain. Allow them to actually feel those emotions, express those emotions if that's what they are going through, and also support them. Help them to seek support as a parent, because sometimes some parents, they get disappointed that this is not how I raise you. In that process, if the damage has already been done, there is no way back to actually say, I raise you well, I expect better from this. I have my teenage daughter as well. Sometimes she just goes and do whatever she wants. So that's what life is about. The children will do that. So support them. Reach out to a therapist. Family, friends, I wouldn't advise to reach out to family friends. If you reach out to a family friend, there's got to be a friend that you trust. Because sometimes people make things worse, because when you tell somebody problems, then the problem will go that way, and your child will lose trust in you as well when she realizes that people know about her problem if she does not want people to know. So for me, or even family members, people talk. So for me, I would just, as a professional, say seek professional advice. Professional advice, if you are somebody who is based in the UK, you can even seek his professional advice for free. You don't have to pay for a therapist. You can go to your GP and explain their problem. They'll refer to a therapist for free. It might take a long time, a little bit longer, but it's better than talking to family members who are going to end up laughing at you, laughing at your child, and making things worse. Because when you confide, when you're broken, you're broken. When your child is broken, it means the parents are going to be broken. And the parents are going to need somebody to talk to. And then you go and talk to that person will take it to somebody else to somebody else. And then it will come back again to the child. And the child will be upset, that feel betrayed by their parents. So make sure that doesn't happen. We have to protect our children, and make sure they take time for self-care and allow them to talk about their feelings, their experiences, what they are going through. Allow them to do that. When the damage is done, you cannot go to a blaming mode and say, why this happened, or why did you do this and stuff. You can't do that. The only thing you can do is support your child as a teenager, and support them and be there for them, and seek help, and seek God as well. If you are a Christian, avoid the isolation. Sometimes parents make things worse as well, because they go mad and the child goes mad and everybody goes mad. So as a parent, you have to keep your cool. When you are dealing with a teenager, keep your cool, because those will be the challenging times. Those will be times where your child needs you the most. Focus on that, and because it brings you joy as a parent. I'm sure it brings you joy when you know that your child is taking good care of, or is being taken good care. So just emotionally support them. Help them to rebuild their confidence, because when a child dates somebody, and when they date somebody at a very young age, their confidence, and they get rejected, their confidence will be affected. And when the confidence is affected, that means that they're going to need to rebuild their confidence mentally, physically. They won't be okay. And it's good to actually go to a therapist, or if you are a Christian, just go to your church, speak to your pastor for counseling, and get counseling without blaming. There's no point in blaming somebody when the damage is done. Can't blame somebody. Even God, when we pray, we ask for mercy. God does not say, I told you so. He doesn't say on my scriptures, you did not follow my commandments. He just forgives. He has mercy. So that's what we need to do with our children, and help them to maintain their social connection as well as the parents, and encourage them to maintain. Or if you are a teenager, you are watching this video, seek support, take time for self-care, and avoid the isolation. If you are a Christian, go to church and get counseling and read the scriptures. And when you read the scriptures, or if you are not a Christian, seek support, counseling, and just get help, and never ever isolate yourself from people. It happens, relationship, whether you're an adult, it has happened. So when it does happen, when you are a teenager, do not isolate yourself for a man that he will reject you and go and move on and live on and keep breaking other people's heart. Or a woman that will reject you and they keep going on and keep breaking other people's heart. Know that we have to learn from our experiences. The things that we do in life, when we go through pain, that pain, it wants us to acknowledge where we've gone wrong so we can correct. When you create your principles, a woman has to have principles in place. So if you are a woman who is dating and let's say you're a Christian and you're dating, and you don't have principles in place, and you are a man, you are dating, you don't have principles in place. Look at God himself. He has his own commandment. He doesn't say, okay, everybody, I am God, I am your Father in heaven. He has the principles in place. You want to enter my kingdom. This is who you need to be, your image as a person. So when you are dating as a teenager, the image of the person you are dating is very important. Their values, their beliefs, very, very important. You don't just date somebody because they're bored, because they've helped you. There are some people, like you say, oh, how did you guys meet? And they're like, oh, he helped me with this. So I thought he's a very nice person and I just dated him, and everything else, it just happened. And what else? Compatibility and ask questions. No, there was no compatibility. And when they started having problems, they start having problems. So as a teenager, there are things that you need to ask yourself. This man that I'm meeting, that he says he has he wants to date me. What vision does he have for me? Because a man has to have a vision. A man has to know where he's gonna, if he's gonna have children, or he's just want to date and get married and then he have children later. How is he gonna, where are we gonna live? So as he sat down this boy and created his own vision. So when you are dating somebody, those are the things that you need to ask yourself, because if there is no vision, the relationship will perish. It's not going to work. Where there is no vision, a man has to have a vision. A man in a relationship is an architect. It means that he designs his own life. He designs how he's going to raise his children, how he's going to live his life. If you read the Bible, he is an architect. A woman, she's a mentor. She mentors her husband to become who he's meant to become. But if you are a teenager and you're dating for fun, so that means the relationship is going to break for fun, because that was fun, not dating, not being serious. So a woman has to, we have to protect ourselves. We have to wear, everything we do in life has a symbol of what it means, what it stands for. So we have to protect ourselves. If you're a teenager and you're watching this video, you have to ask yourself, when another teenager says, I want to date you, what do you bring to this table? You want to date me? Why do you want to date me? The future. What future do you have? Somebody might just be serious. Maybe is a child of God who has anointed parents, who knows exactly, who's been raised through values, strong values, through family beliefs, and they might be serious. Really, they want to find that special person. So we can't go around and judge people. So you have to ask those questions. And even as a teenager, this teenager that wants to date you, ask questions. But if you have a broken heart, in order to find the healing, reflect and learn from those mistakes. Self-reflection is very, very important. Assessing your own needs is very, very important. Assessing your values, your boundaries is very, very important. Setting goals in life, in every various areas of your life, like academics wise. If there's somebody who don't want to go to university, if you don't want to go to university, there are few choices that you can do. If you don't want to go to university, not everybody has to go to university. There are people who went to university and they're not doing anything. So if you don't want to go to university, that means you're prepared to go and learn the job. You have a job lined up that you're going to go and learn. There are people who didn't go to university and they earn good money. They have jobs. They earn more than 100 grand or 200 grand or 300 grand, but they didn't go to college. They went to college. And after college, they decided that they're going to go and do internship and then they're going to learn the job. I was with this woman yesterday. We were just talking, and she says, all my children, when they finish school now, they are grown-ups. We were just talking about life in the area where we live, and she was like, oh, this area where the street where she lives with this, in Henley is people for rich areas anyway. So she was like, in this street, they all have these nice cars, expensive cars. So somebody just came on the street and they emptied the cars. So the police said to them, they might be somewhere in a different country by now. It looks like these people that are doing that, they know exactly what they are doing. So the cars might be out of the country. So they've got no way to trace them. So then we started talking about life in general, when she was like, her children, they never went to university, but they have really, really good job. They have their own children now. They have really, really good jobs. So what they did, they went to learn jobs, and they've learned and they've worked themselves way up, and now they are good. They pay for themselves. They look after themselves. They've got their own homes. And they've got their own family. They are stable. They're good. They've got a good life. So, and she was saying, some people, children nowadays, they go to school and they study psychology. And when they study this degree psychology, and they don't do nothing after. And I was like, I said to her, you are actually right. For me, I studied psychology as well, a degree in psychology. But I wasn't intended to actually use that degree on its own, because otherwise the salary is no good. So I had to do some other things to combine. Like, I'm a matchmaker, psychologist, a matchmaker. So I'm combining all these experiences together. And I've had to do the matchmaking training, psychologist. And all these, when you combine these things together, it gives me something so that I can actually work. But if I was to go to NHS and work, I will maybe earn 30 grand a year or 25 grand a year, and that, which is nothing. I wouldn't be able to survive and live the life that I want. So we were talking about it, and I said to her, she does make sense what she is saying. If you study psychology on its own, or unless you do PhD and you become a psychologist that actually subscribe medication in that way, that is better. You can have your own practice. Then that is better. But if you just go and study just the degree, some courses don't make sense. So we were just talking about this, and I said to her, when she was talking about psychology, I was like, oh, I've studied psychology. She was like, I'm talking to the wrong person. And I was like, no, you're talking to the right person. I'm learning. So yeah, so that is that. So what you have to do is, if you don't go, let's say you're dating, you start dating, So there's got to be a plan that you're planning. What is the plan for the future? Why is God? Is some people, they tell you that, you know what, they've got it all figured out. Some people are very, very, very lucky because God shows them their path from a very, very young age. Not everybody is the same. We are not meant to be the same. And that's why when I'm speaking, I don't want to say a teenager cannot date or a teenager. There's so many like pastors that you see, they've been married since they were young. They've been married, they met when they were young, and they'll tell you that we started dating, and the first time we met, I knew he was the one, I knew she was the one, and I've been married ever since. And that can happen. So, but if you do find that the one man, the one that you believe is the one, there's got to be something in that place where, why do you believe this person is the one, is to avoid heartbreak. So, but if you have a heartbreak, you just focus on your personal growth, practice self-compassion, stay positive and optimistic. We cannot blame and say, oh, this, or, and even parents, just be kind to your children and channel your energy into that child by asking God to love and protect that child and build your purpose, regain, help your child, your teenage child to regain their sense of purpose. And sometimes when a child is a teenager, it's hard. When they're hit by depression, it's hard for them to get up. Because to them, at that moment, the world is different. So they expect the world to be how it should have been. And but unfortunately, that's not the way when it comes to life. Life will hit you where you don't expect. So that is the life. And if you believe that teenager, or if you're a teenager, you're watching this video, seek professional help if it's needed to cope with those emotions, aftermath of breakup. Consider seeking a therapist or counselor. A counselor or a therapist, they both can provide with guidance and support, or just create a strategy for your specific needs, so they can help you to do that and through this healing. And know that healing, it takes time. Everyone's journey is different and is unique. That's why I'm saying I can't say, oh, a teenager cannot date, because there are people that I know, that I have met, that they tell me that, oh, I've met my wife when we were 16. I just knew she was the one. And I've never looked back, and I don't regret marrying her. I don't regret having children with her. So that is a beautiful story. So, and that story can still happen in this generation, but our generation is because they rush into things. Everything they rush. So but some people, they just date. They just give their heart and to somebody, and when it all falls apart, it all falls apart. But when you create the principles, it's like okay, you like me, I'm not gonna have sex with you, I'm not gonna kiss you. If you really, really like me, just gonna hang out with me until we get married, until we have a vision of our own. Because if you are still being raised by your parents and you say you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, what's the future? You can't look after yourself if you are being looked after by parents. So the foundation of life is very, very important, and communicating to the teenagers as well. Communicate, if you're watching this video, communicate your feelings to your parents. And sometimes when teenagers, when they go through life, why teenager won't talk to me? I think I had a book. I have this book, Why My Teenager Won't Talk to Me. I don't know if you read this book. It's a very, very good book by Susie Heyman, Why My Teenager Won't Talk to Me. It's really, really good. It tells you the power of authority, the power of communication, communicating with a teenager is not, you have to think very, very carefully how you approach the situation. So the book is really good. You can get it from your local library. And it's all about brain research, how the brain works, and how is developed, the brain of a teenager is developed. And the best way to support your teenager who is pushing you away, like teenagers do. And sometimes they don't want to talk to you. Yeah. So sometimes, oh my God. Sometimes the teenagers, they don't want to talk to you. So that book is good. I've read it. I've read part of it. It's really good. So just look, why my teenager won't talk to me, just look for it, look out for it. So that's very, very important to actually support your child emotionally, and allow them to feel the pain, to experience that pain. Don't rush them or tell them that they should or just worry about them. They'll be okay. Be patient with your child, and your child has to be patient. They have to allow themselves to feel. They have to allow themselves to heal when they are hurting. Acknowledge those emotions, and they need to know that it is okay for them to grieve. It is okay for them to feel angry. It is okay for them to feel confused. They need to give themselves, if you're a teenager, give yourself permission to go through healing process at your own space, your own pace, and know that self-care is important, and embrace the journey of healing, and know that life is a process. And also parents, listen to your children when they speak to you, and avoid minimizing or comparing your child with somebody else's child. It's very, very easy for parents to actually compare their children with their friends or their neighbors or anything, or avoid doing that. Never ever compare your child with somebody else. And no matter how much they make mistakes, they are unique, they are individual, and they just need to actually be guided through life. You just need, as a parent, your job is to keep guiding them, teach them the values that helped you to become the person that you are that day. Teach them those values. If they are Christian values, don't give up on them. It's okay for them to make those mistakes, but don't give up on your child because you want them to be like your friend's child, or you want them to be like somebody else's child. Know that your child is unique. Never give up on them. Just keep supporting them. Keep helping them to create their own image. It's very, very important for them to wear their authentic coat, because when you support somebody, you help them. I tell my daughter that I'm not going to be a bad guy just because she makes mistakes, and then I have to scream and shout, and then I become a mother. That no, I'm not going to do that. All I can do is to use my values and my beliefs. My values is, God, what do I do when I'm in pain? I cry out to God. What do I do when my life is not working? I cry out to God, I seek him. So when my child is not, life is not going well, I still have to do the same, not to go and shout and scream and shout, because if I scream and shout, she's gonna say I'm a bad mother and I become the bad guy and she becomes the good guy. So I don't do that. I just seek God. And I teach my child the principles of life, because life is not easy. Life requires you to have the mind of a soldier, the mind of a sports person, an athletic person, where there is dark, they find light. There is no time when there is darkness. If you're an athletic, there is no time to wind up and keep in one place, your mind keep in one place. You got to find a way out. You got to find the light. When there is dark, when life seems so dark, when you are actually losing in that game, you got to find a light to win the game. That's what an athletic has to think. They have to think the ways of winning. How can I win if I'm losing? How can I just win this game? So you have to have that mindset of an athletic, a mindset of a soldier. They go to Ukrainian people, soldiers. There are some British soldiers who went to Ukraine. Do you think in the day what they think about is actually the war, the pain? No, they think about the survival. What can they do different in order for them to survive? The Russian people. So that's what life is about. Life is all about survival. How can I survive? When you go through pain as a teenager, if you watch this video, me, I'm not a matchmaker, or I'm not a relationship coach that tells you that life happens, things will happen in time. You just have to, I can tell you, you have to be patient. I can tell you that you have to do self-care. It's very, very important. I can tell you that you have to actually maintain personal growth. You have to embrace that journey. I can tell you that you have to be patient. I can tell you that you have to allow yourself to feel. I can tell you that you have to seek support. What I can tell you is life is a game. You got to understand when you go through that pain, you got to understand that life is a game. Life is no, as a teenager, you have to know that it is all about survival. You can't think about the person. You cannot think about the other person. When you're going through pain, the person that has hurt you, you got to think about the now. How can I change the situation now that I'm in pain? How can I think about the number one in order for me to find the healing? How can I actually move forward with my life? Now that I'm in this darkness, how do I move forward? So that's what an athletic do when they're going through pain, when they are going through darkness. All they want is light. They want to find the light in order to win the game. And by doing that is going to get a coach that it can help them to get better. Is by having principles in place, having goals. So you have to have goals. Just because you have a broken heart, it doesn't mean that you have to go into feeling sorry clap for a year. If it goes on for a year, that is too long. Without healing, without some sort of healing for that year process, there's got to be some little bit of healing that is being done. But if there is no healing, it's just feeling sorry and eating chocolate, going out and not really healing properly, that means there is a problem, but you just need to work through that. You need to work through that healing process as a teenager and make sure that you are number one. And also for the future, set boundaries, set principles as a woman or as a man. How do you want men to treat you? As a woman, how do you want to be treated? Breakthrough, just have this framework of life. Create your values, create your principles in life, put the principles in place when you meet somebody. So now, now I'm gonna leave you with just few things, like those teenagers that believe that, because not every teenager is the same. So people are different. Some teenagers, they have this vision that they know exactly what they want. They want to get married. They want to study. They want to get married, or they don't want to go to school. They want to, they know that they just gonna, they want to, they have this vision that they're gonna create their own lives. They're gonna learn the work, do the work, and settle down. You know, everyone is the same. So if you are somebody who knows exactly what they want, and you believe that God has called you to connect with this woman, but God calls you to, God can show you your blessings, but you have to be the one that selects this woman, or you have to, as a man, you have to be a man, whether you're a teenager, you have to be the one that select this woman, because you're going to spend the rest of your life with this man or this woman. So we cannot say God chose this man for you. You have the decision. God can show you the future, but then you have a choice to actually use that future, whether is it your future or just do whatever you believe is right with God's guidance, of course. So sometimes the dreams, sometimes it's good to have these dreams. So sometimes you have to, there is a danger when it comes to dreams, there is a danger as well. The dream that we think we see in one stage of our life will show up in a different dimension. It will be different, it will be a different dimension that we will not recognize as the original dream. God can show you your future. Say, this is your future, this is your future wife, this is your future husband, this is the life that could be. But then when it comes to this life, this wife, this woman that she might turn at the age of 16, she might appear in your life at the age of 16 or at the age of 17, but she might appear in a different way. That's why rushing into sex and rushing into doing whatever, sometimes it's good to wait. Because God might present this woman to you and say, this, okay, is the future, will be your future wife. So you then have to look at the life that you have and create that vision. Create the vision based on what you believe to be true about your life as a teenager, what is true. And that dream, if you are a Christian, that dream will make you different, because it means you will select that love of your life. And don't downplay your vision as well, or don't let anyone affirm your destination. Don't be afraid to show up different. Sometimes you might be a child that has been raised well by parents who are confident, and you adopted that habit of being confident, and you know exactly what you want as a teenager, and you have this life lined up. Don't be afraid to show that life. Don't be afraid to actually to fulfill your purpose. Connect with your vision. If God has given you the blessing, no one can take it away. And have the courage to wear your authentic code. When I'm saying have the courage to wear your authentic code, it means it's fine to be different. If you are a child that is driven, that knows exactly what they want, and you want to get to know this woman, and you believe that this person, God has put them through your path, get to know them. I didn't say get to know, get to have sex, get to kiss. No, I just said get to know them. And then in the process, create your vision. Because women needs to know, when a woman dates a man, they need to know, what vision do you have for them? And the man wants the same. They want a woman who has got a vision. So a woman wants this, a man who is with a vision, a man who wants a woman who has got a vision, and the vision has to align with his vision. That's what they want. So if you are a woman who still needs to travel, and then you date a boy, a teenager, you are a teenager, you think about traveling, you want to travel the world, and you want to date somebody who really does not want to travel, who just want to maybe go to uni, so it's not going to work. And then a heartbreak. She won't come with me, but in the beginning, we knew that it was never going to work. So it's very, very important for children and teenagers. If you're watching this video, know your vision. Have principles in place. We don't just date somebody because we date them, they're gorgeous. He's handsome, he makes me feel different. That doesn't work. Relationship go deep. So if you are a teenager who is actually prepared to learn the principles of love, to learn to sympathize with it, to me it's too big. That's why I'm saying a teenager has to be a teenager. And if you are that person who is actually really ready to learn the principles of love and sympathize with your spouse and get to know their world while you are studying and just make all the effort of life. My friend's daughter, she told me that she had a boyfriend. I think she was 16. And then when I met her the next time, I was like, how's your boyfriend? He was like, no, it doesn't exist anymore. I was like, what happened? Too much effort. I was like, hallelujah. It is too much effort. So from that age, you just want to learn about life, unless you find somebody, or you are somebody who's mature, who has dreams, figured everything out. There are people in age of 16 or 17 that they figured life out. They know exactly what they're going to do with their lives. So that's what makes us unique. So not everyone is the same. Some people, they come from a very anointed Christian strong background. Some people, they come from a non-Christian background with families who are blessed. Blessed, when I mean blessed, they are blessed with life, not rich or anything, but they are just blessed. Because when God blesses you, whether you're a non-Christian, you know that I'm a blessed. When you're blessed, you know you're blessed. And your children will be blessed. So that means if you come from that family, kind of a family, you will be blessed and you'll be ready to take on any challenge. You'll be ready to get married because you come from a blessed family. There are some people who are naturally, they are born with blessings. And they maintain those blessings, they maintain it through their family values, through their beliefs. So you just have to look at your life and evaluate your life based on your life. And if you are a teenager, you're going through a heartbreak, do not judge yourself. Do not compare yourself with anyone. Comparison is a thief of joy. So we don't go around comparing our lives with other people. We live our lives. Our lives is unique, is good the way it is. So that's why it's important to actually wear your authentic coat, no matter how much pain you go through in life. Keep that coat of yours, the authentic one. And you create your image based on who God wants you to become. No comparing your life. I have a heartbreak, my friends. There are no social media, and just lead your life how you want. If you happen to go through heartbreak, or parents, your child happens to go through heartbreak, the only thing you can do as a parent is to support your child, not to blame, not to compare them with your friends' children. That's the only thing you can do. Who cares? Those who laugh, let people laugh. But stand by your child, stand by your values. Let those who laugh, let them laugh. But you as a parent, stand by your child. And your child needs to let those who wants to laugh. That's all I can say to you. And I'm saying this as a coach, as somebody who has gone through challenges in life. And as a Christian, I gone through challenges, and I've seek God through those pain, through the challenges that I've gone through. I'd never gone through challenges with teenager, because I've growing up as a child, I've always enjoyed my parents' company. And I've always enjoyed playing, climbing trees. I've always enjoyed my sports. So I spend time doing things that I love. I spend time actually hanging out with boys most of my time, my life. I started having friends, girlfriends, I think that was 2009 or 2008. But most of my friends are boys, were boys. I'm still friends with them now. I met them, that was 30 years ago, or at school. I'm still friends with them now, because what I like about boys, they don't mess you about. Whenever you are seeking support, they always tell you things as they are. They're never going to try to make you feel sorry for yourself or anything, or blame you or anything. They don't. They can either support you, whatever you go through life, without laughing or without anything. They are there 100%. But women, we laugh at each other. They are the women that can support you. They are hard to find. I can tell you this. They are really, really hard to find. Even myself, when I'm an adult right now, I have good friends, women, good friends, but I had to hold on to those good people, because I know they are hard to find. They are hard, even Christians, they are hard to find. Whether they go to church or they don't go to church, they are hard. A really genuine person is hard to find. You can go to church and seek, while they're saying hallelujah, hallelujah sometimes, and then you know what I mean. They are hard to find. So when you are somebody, you go through the pain. That's why I'm saying you shouldn't worry about what people think, because at the end of the day, that pain is between you and God, or is between you with whatever you believe to be true. For me, I know that if I'm going through pain, at the end of the day, it's me and God that is feeling that pain. It's me. So I wouldn't even worry about my friends. I'll hang out with friends that wants to support me. So as a teenager, don't try to fit in with somebody else because you believe that when you fit in with somebody else, it's the right thing to do. It's not. So just try to be you. And I find it does help in the long run. So those are the things that I've covered today. The things that I've covered, I leave you with is when you go through pain in life, seek support and know your standards of life. Be clear with your boundaries and have a clear image of life, of your own and your own values. And you don't need approval from people. Date somebody who has got a good, solid faith about their life and faith in God. If you're a Christian, don't date somebody who thinking that you're gonna drag them to church. You cannot drag a human being. You cannot convert. Yeah, apparently, it's converting in Muslim. I've seen people getting married, Muslim and they convert people. They are not Muslim, but they have to be converted. So don't think that you're going to change somebody. If you have Christian values, Christian beliefs, so you have to stick to your beliefs and date somebody who has the Christian values, and create your own image as a person where you're authentic. Be authentic. Don't work so hard, which I have tried it before, where I worked so hard, really, really hard, thinking that when I look good, neglecting myself, how material-wise, I made sure that I look good, but inside I was broken. Work on your personal development. Read the Bible if you are a Christian. If you are not a Christian, do whatever you believe is to be true. Read books, personal development, motivational videos. On YouTube, you can find lots of motivational videos, journaling. Do the journaling. And if you are a Christian, seek God fully, because this world, we live in a world where people have to fit in. But if you go to the pub, you haven't got money, you get drunk. Because in that pub, you'll find somebody that is very generous, that wants you to buy you beer. So what I'm trying to say is, don't try to fit in. Because when you go to the pub, people who are drinking, they want beer. They're not going to try to fit in with you that does not drink. So they're not going to say, oh, I don't drink while they drink. All they want is their beer. So why would you say you drink if you don't drink? It doesn't make sense to me. So wear your authentic coat, unapologetic. God bless everyone. And we are here at Ngosi Talk Shows Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time. And live with grace, everyone, and God bless.